Welcome back to Golf Goals and Grapplers, everybody. I am Bull with Chris and Christian.
I never did that Budweiser thing where they go, was there?
Were there?
You know, every time you do the peace sign, you always remember like Simon Cowell.
That's not peace.
What is it?
2.
Either that or like some like fangirl or something like that.
So it's... Anyway,
Where they've got their fringe over their eyes like that.
everybody in love...
So, Bull, what's this pod about?
I was just about to get to that and then I got rudely interrupted by peace. So...
that was my MSN profile picture.
MSN Messenger.
Yeah.
Class.
ASL.
Love that.
What was your BBM number?
I never had a BlackBerry.
No, I
Did you
didn't.
not?
Bebo. Bebo was always...
Bebo, yeah, MySpace.
MySpace, we used to be able to put music and backgrounds on it. That was
MySpace.
class.
Never had
still,
either.
MySpace is still a thing, by
Is
the way.
it?
Yeah. Yeah, still a thing.
First thing I had was Facebook in 2007. That's when I joined.
MySpace and Bebo and then Facebook. for
I was
me.
quite late to the party on Facebook, you know, because my mates used to be like, join this Facebook, and I was like, nah, that'll never take off. Sounds bullshit. And I was proven right.
I had...
It's just small fry, innit?
I had MySpace. But Liverpool is what today's podcast is about.
Good shout. Seems that we're all Liverpool fans. We know... Well, we should know quite a lot about Liverpool, shouldn't we?
So,
We've immediately lost everyone but
Yeah.
Liverpool.
yeah,
We're not going to title this that like anything to do with Liverpool, are we? So people start to listen.
They've turned off now, though.
yeah, absolutely. So, everything Liverpool related. Let's start with favourite Liverpool matches or most memorable.
Well,
There's two that shine out for me.
okay, there's probably 3 for me. It's the two... Oh, no, there's more if you think modern day, but it's the 2 4-3s back-to-back with Newcastle in the 90s. Great games.
Don't really remember that one.
Unbelievable games. The first one was better than the second one, but
Yeah,
great
Do you
games.
remember anything?
Obviously, I know the games, I know the highlights, I know what happened, but it's not ones that I've personally watched. So
And then obviously you've got Istanbul. You have to throw that in there.
yeah, Istanbul's one.
Barcelona 4-0.
Yeah,
Istanbul
great
and
comeback.
Barcelona are two of the greatest games I've ever watched.
Yeah. What was the game where we won like 5-4 against Alaves as well? That was unbelievable, that game.
And the
That was
Dortmund one. Do you remember the Dortmund one? Was that Europa
Yeah.
League?
4-3.
Dejan Lovren.
Lovren with the header at the end to put us through.
There's been some crackers, haven't they, over the years?
The two-legged affair with Roma where we won like 7-6 on aggregate.
That's
Yeah.
just before we bought Alisson, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because he always talks
Yeah,
about
it
the
was.
fact that, what Salah did to him and stuff like
That's
that.
our
but-
entire transfer strategy is who plays good against us
Yeah.
and we buy him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we bought Darwin Núñez.
But there is some unbelievable games over the years.
Do you know what
isn't
was weird? That team that came back against Barca, that was where we were sort of like in our peak.
there? Yeah.
And even when we lost 3-0, I genuinely still believed about the second leg.
Yeah.
Most people would be like, you're dead, you're playing Messi, you're playing Suarez, you're dead, you're 3-0 down, you're dead. I still thought we could, if we scored early, we could turn them over.
The thing is, though, in that second leg as well, I think we had Origi, I think we're missing Firmino, Salah, and another big player, and we had like Origi up front, and everyone was like, "Oh,
Legend.
Origi's up front, he ain't going to do nothing." Divock Origi turned up on the big occasion.
He always does, doesn't he, on the big occasions? Obviously,
Yeah.
that Spurs final as well, he came on and bagged the second, didn't he, just to put it out of reach.
It was our Solskjaer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. He
Clutch
absolutely
goals.
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
he absolutely was. And then Gini Wijnaldum, who was pissed off about being on the bench, and he came on,
bagged two.
and got 2 goals. Yeah.
He's a beast, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was. It was another one where you think, why did we sign him? Relegated with Newcastle, 20 million quid. People thought, what you signed him for is shit. Class signing.
Yeah.
Great,
Unbelievable
great
player. And talk about Origi goals, that one against Everton, where
Yes.
Pickford pushed it onto the bar and he just
Yeah.
tapped it in.
Well,
didn't
Jurgen Kloppman on the pitch.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
the
I
thing, he's
remember.
got some memorable goals, hasn't he?
Clutch.
Origi. Some
Yeah.
memorable goals.
So, memorable games, you're talking, Istanbul's the biggest one really, innit?
Yeah.
I think it's the one that's more known worldwide, isn't it? Like, if anyone says a sort of historic Liverpool game, most people go Istanbul.
I saw the Milan team for
Some
that
team,
final
right?
a couple of months ago, and I don't know if it's a bit of a replay, and they flashed up their starting 11.
Unbelievable,
What
isn't
a
it?
team.
Oh, some team.
And
We
our
talk
team
about
was
some
dregs.
of the best players ever to grace
Yeah.
the game, aren't we? We talk about Maldini, Nesta, Shevchenko, Kaká, Inzaghi.
Seedorf.
Yeah.
Seedorf.
Dida in
I was
goal.
going to say Dida in goal.
Unbelievable team.
Was Cafu right back as well?
Yeah.
I want to say Cafu
Was
was
he
right
still
back.
playing in
I think so.
4-5?
Yeah, I think so.
Possibly. But what was funny, because we played that same Milan team, was it 06 or 07?
07.
07 got absolutely...
Yeah, they beat us, didn't they?
Well, we didn't get demolished.
It
Was
was
it 2-0?
2-1.
2-1 was
It
it?
was quite a different team by 07, I think, though.
So
I think
Crouch
it was
had
a
signed
big
it.
difference.
Our Liverpool team was different, yeah.
Yeah, Crouch had signed at that point, I think. And
Had he?
yeah, because I remember him saying about this on his pod. I'm sure he'd signed and it was obviously completely different. Or did he sign after that? No, he signed after the 05, didn't he?
I know
Yeah.
we had Pepe Reina in goal.
Class keeper. Loved Pepe Reina. Loved him. But
So- go on.
the Barcelona game, though, as much as you said, we thought we had a chance. I mean, I'm a very optimistic Liverpool fan. I always think we've got a chance in any game or any tie that we're in. But that was unbelievable, that game.
Do you know what gave us a chance in that Barcelona game? And this is going to sound really backwards. What gave us a chance in that Barcelona game was the fact that they had Messi and Suarez and people who... They had forwards who didn't want to work back. And that was the same when we played...
Neymar.
When we played PSG a few years ago in the first group game. I think we beat them 4-3. And their front three was Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, and it could have been Messi, could have been someone else. But they just didn't want to track back, and they don't. So you're playing. It's not like you're playing Real Madrid and Vinicius Junior works his ass off, and Benzema did, and other people like that. They just didn't want to work.
Yeah.
So anytime you're playing a team like that, you can get
You've
away
got a
with
chance, haven't
yeah,
you?
of course.
Anfield's a massive pull, though, as well, isn't it? Like that.
Yeah.
Anfield on a Champions League night.
Yeah. This is what's weird, though, because obviously, I've been to Anfield to 8, 10, 12 times. Not a lot in my life. And obviously, it's so difficult to get a ticket now. But, when you get to the quarterfinals, semi-finals of a Champions League, or you're on a title run, Anfield, outside the ground, inside the ground, it looks incredible, right? But then when you read things online, people are like, yeah, incredible atmosphere. As soon as the whistle goes, apparently it's a bit of a ghost town.
Yeah, I see a lot of this.
Yeah, but I don't know what's true because obviously I haven't been to enough games. I mean, if Liverpool are playing Brentford, I can imagine, yeah, it's a bit of a ghost town.
Yeah.
But I imagine the atmosphere is unreal when you get to semi-final nights and stuff.
On a big European night
Yeah.
when it matters.
Yeah. Liverpool, Man United. What an atmosphere that'd be.
Yeah.
Great atmosphere.
What do you think is the biggest rivalry game for Liverpool now in the Prem? What's the game you look out for?
Man City.
Man City.
Man City over Man United?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man United's like an old-fashioned rivalry, but like they've been dead for 10 seasons, aren't they, United?
I think you always look for the Man United game because it's Man United, but the biggest game is Man City without question.
I think because those two have been so close with each other for many years now, it's the one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest game for any team, regardless of who it is. The biggest game in the Premier League is Man City, whether it be at home or whether it be away, because they're the biggest club in the world.
Yeah, but I think if
Or
you
the
ask
best club in the world.
Arsenal what game they look out for, they'd look out for the Spurs game.
Over Man City.
I think so.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's still some local rivalries which are bigger.
I think
than the
Everton
City
fans
game.
would look out for the Liverpool game ahead of the Man City game.
You see, I don't. As a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't think, when's the Everton game?
Yeah, same. I don't look for the Everton
I
game.
wouldn't care.
I think just because the quality's not there anymore, is it?
Yeah, it's so different, isn't it?
It's such a different game now. Like you say, the way we like to watch football now, you're looking at Man City, arguably the best team in the world,
Yeah.
against your team, Liverpool, which are a close second. And that game is just full of class.
You think Liverpool are second best team in the
No,
world?
close second to Man City, as in
okay,
in the Premier League, not in the world. And that game has got individually world-class players, but world-class teams, world-class managers. It's got everything you want in a game. And that's what makes that so exciting, I guess.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think anytime you pit Man City against anyone, it's just unless it's against a dread team like Sheffield United or something like that, it's just a great game to watch. If you put Man City against Arsenal, it's a great game to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm watching Man City, me.
Yeah, I'm not watching.
Because I'm a fan of technical football.
Yeah.
I'm watching Man City. I'm not really watching Arsenal.
No,
Yeah.
you're not watching the whole spectacle.
And do you know what's weird for me? This might sound weird as a Liverpool fan, right? But like after Liverpool, if Liverpool aren't playing, the next team you go to watch is, I want to watch Man City play.
And weirdly, you can actually get tickets to Man City quite
Yeah.
easily.
Quite easily.
We
yeah.
need to go to. I think we looked at this right, but we can rock up to a Prem game
Yeah.
with
Easy.
in like a month's notice.
Yeah.
Quite easily.
Yeah, we need to go to a Man City game because it's mad that the best team in the world
Can't start at the
are an
stadium.
hour and a half away from us.
Exactly, and
And
you can
you
get
can't-
tickets to
and
go
you can't
watch it.
stop
Why
the
wouldn't
stadium.
you?
You can't stand the stadium, did you say?
Can't sell out the stadium.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no.
It's bad.
Empty had.
So obviously we've gone through the best games and that. Who, in your opinion, is your favourite Liverpool? I was going to say best Liverpool manager, but that's very subjective. Who's your favourite Liverpool manager
Klopp
by a distance?
by
Yeah.
a distance.
Really?
I want a massive, I want massively endeared to Benitez, who you'd think is the logical next one.
That's what I was thinking about. It's out of those two, innit? Because obviously our era, it is Klopp and Benitez. They're the or Gerard Houllier was successful to a point, but your two most successful ones are Klopp and
Jurgen
Benitez.
Klopp for me all day long. The things he's done at that club, unbelievable.
Benitez never got Liverpool challenging for the title. People
No.
forget
No, he
this.
did.
Like, we was good in Europe.
He did.
We never ran anyone close for the title.
We got to the point where we were challenging Man United, I think.
No,
and
it was Brendan Rodgers who was managing us when we should have won the title.
No. So before that,
Yeah, true,
Benitez went mad, and he went on this rant about Mr. Ferguson this, Mr. Ferguson that, and he went on this rant about it, and he lost his head, and we had, I think at one point we had an 11-point lead, and then he just lost it.
I need you to fact check this. When did we have an 11-point lead in the Premier League and we lost it? What season was this?
When Benitez was in charge in 2006, 2008, something like that.
I'm not sure
We'll have
about
to look
this.
this up because I'm not sure about this either.
I don't remember this at
Have a
all.
look. Google it. Google the internet.
I remember
Google
us
the internet.
being 5 points clear with 4 games to go under Rodgers, and we lost to Chelsea. Gerrard slip. We drew
Palace.
3-3 with
Palace.
Palace and lost the
And
title.
we're 3-0 up.
Yep.
That was the game, wasn't it? That Palace game was one that triggered it.
Well, we'd lost to Chelsea at home the weekend before,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think that's people started to doubt us at that point.
Yeah. But to lose a three goal lead, that's not champion mentality, is it?
No.
To concede 3 goals against Dwight Gale,
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably the only
Fucking
hat trick he's
hell.
ever scored in his life.
But going back to Klopp, right? Look at the team he inherited. He inherited a team who was 7th, 8th in the Premier League. The
Yeah.
squad was nothing like how he wanted to play. What he's managed to do is unbelievable
Yeah.
on any scale.
Absolutely agree.
When he came in and said, I want to win a title in 4 years, right? I thought, you're mental, mate. We're about 10-year rebuild away from challenging. And he did. He won a title after 4 years, like Mystic Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, what he's done in 7 years at that club in terms of won every single trophy that is available to us.
Yeah.
The thing is, as far as Klopp's concerned,
Poetry.
my concern in regards to him is he overstays. I won't say overstays his welcome, but he stays longer than he should, and that's when the decline comes in.
He did at Dortmund.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Where with like 6 games to go, they were bottom of the Bundesliga. Do you remember that season?
Yeah. And that's when he left.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and then
Absolutely
and then he
crazy.
left. Took a bit of time off, and then went to Liverpool straight after that. I think he had like 6
I
months
think
off.
I think this might be his last season. You know.
Well, yeah, he signed a 2-year extension, didn't he? And this was his last. This was his 2nd year of his extension.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. When he signed his extension, if he'd have gone then, he would have gone as like a god in like the Bill Shankly, like that level, like god era. I think the extra 2 years he stayed has took a little bit off him because obviously we finished like 5th last year.
Yeah.
Unless he wins something this year. I mean, I'm a big Klopp fan, so like even if he wins nothing this year and we finish 10th, I'll still think he's incredible.
Oh yeah,
But
he's done too much.
there
for
are
it not to
people
be.
that are not Liverpool fans that I'll get on his case. The fact that he stayed 9 years and he won 1 title and
Yeah.
1 Champions League.
I think he's just been so unfortunate with who he's come up against when it comes to Man City.
Yeah, we're just unfortunate that they're absolute freaks of a team. It's a freak of a team where there's points totals that we've had over the last many years that we would have won leagues with.
Oh, by distances.
massively.
We got 97 points and didn't win the Premier League.
Yeah, It's
Was that the
scandalous,
highest?
really.
Was it 97 and 96 we got and didn't win the league? We
Yeah.
both lost 2 leagues by a point or whatever. But I think out of the 25 seasons of the Prem, those points hauls would have won us like 18 titles.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And
Isn't
then,
it, really?
so he's come up against arguably the best manager, or one of the best managers ever.
Yeah, but my issue with this is, you hear this a lot, right, across all sports. You'd go, oh, if Tiger Woods weren't around, Phil Mickelson would have won loads of majors. If Roger Federer weren't around, then Andy Murray would have won so many more majors. There's always someone around.
Yeah, there's always
Do you know what I mean?
But then,
Yeah.
but that's the problem though. There is always someone around, but that team was the only team that finished above us.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there isn't a period, like, if you know when Man United were winning like 8 titles in like 10 years. Arsenal were running them pretty close.
Yeah.
And so you could say that Arsenal team would have won 6-7 Premier Leagues if it weren't for Man United. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's always someone knocking around, like, challenging at the very top.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think when you get 97, 98 points and don't win a title, it does feel gutting.
Yeah. And
Gutting.
you always look back and you think, that's where we lost it.
Did we lose one game, but we drew to City?
Yeah,
It was something like that. We lost one game all season, didn't we? But like, even the year that we won the league, I'm just gutted that it was during the COVID season, because that celebration felt, I don't know about for you, but it felt so underwhelming.
Yeah.
When we won that league, I remember sitting in my house thinking, this is amazing that we won the league, and I watched them all lift. I watched Henderson lift the trophy in that,
And no one's there.
and no one's there. And I just kind of said to my partner, I was like, I want to go out and celebrate this, but there's nothing.
It was flat, wasn't it?
You just can't do anything. And then by the time you could, no one thought about it at that
Is
point. So
that-
it was really, I was gutted that was the one time we'd won it,
Yeah.
and it was so flat.
It's that whole thing, innit? If a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to see it, does it make a noise? If Liverpool win the title during COVID and no one's there to see it, does it really count?
Well, we all saw it.
We all
Yeah,
saw
but
it
no,
on
saw it.
yeah, but no
television.
one. Yeah, you saw it, but no one's there.
I didn't dream Henderson lifting it up.
No, but you saw it, but no one's there.
I know
There's
what you
no
mean.
one. There's no one in
There's
the
no
crowd.
one to witness it
You don't,
from the-
They didn't stand in the middle of the pitch like they do every season when they win the Premier League, and you've got a full stadium
Yeah.
celebrating with them.
The thing is, what you've also got in the mix there as well is that you've also got the haters that'll go, yeah, but it was COVID, so everyone sort of just give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Before we broke for COVID, we was 18 points clear.
Yeah.
Like in the January, we could have gone 20 points clear.
And actually, when we came back after COVID, we played shite. We lost.
Yeah, we did.
We lost loads of games and points then.
That's the most frustrating thing, right? Because I think we dropped some like 6 or 7 points in our last 4 games, right? We sort of limped over the line because
Yeah.
we already won the title, right? If we'd have kept going, we could have finished on like 104, 105 points,
Yeah.
right? Which, for me, if you've got the most points, this is where it's controversial. So the best Premier League team ever is the Man City team that got 100 points.
Yeah.
Because they took the most points off their oppositions.
Yeah.
Arsenal, this Invincibles team, you drew like 14 games.
What did they end up finishing on?
They finished on something like 88
Yeah.
points. So for me, people are like, oh, well, they're the best team ever because they didn't lose. No. Man City got 100. They took
all about
100
points,
points
isn't
off
it?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
Invincible team drawing 14 games, I think that's
I
it's
agree
not
with you on
great.
that. I agree with you on
No,
that. It's got to
yeah.
be the most points.
Yeah.
And that Man City team is the best team in Premier League history.
But we should have kept our foot down and we would have
Yeah,
got
we
104,
would.
105 points and that team would have been the best team in
Yeah.
history.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I
agree.
But yeah, I know people will probably slate you because the status quo is that that Invincible team is the best team ever, or the United team, but not for me. It's the
it's
team
points.
that took the most points off the
Yeah.
opposition all season.
That Man City team as well, over a sustained period of time, they were constantly hitting 94, 95, 96, up to 100 points year after year after year.
Yeah.
And
you-
that's stupid numbers.
And it's a bit like it now, right? It was at such a level where if you lost 2 games,
You've lost the title.
you lost the title. And it's a bit like now, like if you get 6, 7 points behind City now, you count yourself out the title race.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
crazy.
They're the only team really that if they're that far behind, do you think they've still got a chance?
Yeah.
Because they finished strong.
Yeah, because they're going to tear after Christmas, don't they?
Yeah.
They just win like 15 games in a row, and you're thinking,
Yeah.
you know it's coming. You just can't stop it.
Even when there was 8 games left and Arsenal were 10 points clear, I think, I still believed that City was going to win the title
Yeah.
last season.
Yeah.
I know they had a game in hand which would have took it 7 points and they won that game in hand, but not at any point did I think fucking Arsenal have won this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
'Cause I
agree.
just knew they'd just storm it.
Okay, so let's go through between us three. Let's pick our all-time Liverpool XI. So we'll start. We'll include manager on this one then, and I'm going to go out there and say Jurgen Norbert Klopp
Yeah, I'll second that.
Yep.
is the greatest ever manager.
So Klopp's our manager.
So Klopp's our manager. So start with goalkeeper then. I think I know where Chris is going to go with this compared to his all-time Prem XI.
Can we call it Premier League 11?
No, because
Fucking Prem XI.
we're cool.
Christian's fucking from Roman times.
You're not cool.
Prem XI, mate. That's what it
JLS
is.
dolls.
Oh, don't bring that up every time. So goalkeeper. So I think Alisson. We're going to go for Alisson for that. I liked Pepe Reina, me, but I think Alisson tips it.
I like Sander Westerveld.
Sander Westerveld, legend.
Peggy Apex head.
Yeah,
Scott Carson.
yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'd go with Alisson Becker in goal, but Pepe Reina on the bench.
Are we doing bench as well?
I mean,
Yeah, let's do bench as well.
If you're looking at honours, Scott Carson's the best keeper of all time.
Yeah,
that is true.
With Premier
That is
League
very
titles
true,
and
yeah.
that. Yeah, I think Alisson tips it though. We'll put Pepe on the bench.
Okay, so we've gone with Alisson in goal, Pep on the bench. Are we going? What formation are we going?
4-3-3.
I'd definitely go back 4.
You have to go back for.
I think it's 4-3-3 because I think attacking wise we've got loads to go at.
Okay, so right back.
Trent.
Yeah. Rob Jones was class. I'm not even joking. Rob Jones was class.
Rob Jones was absolute class. Steve Finnan.
Arbeloa.
Steve Finnan, underrated player. Arbeloa, yeah.
Arbeloa was class.
Steve Finnan, underrated player.
Yeah. But I think, look, yeah, going forward and what he's achieved at such a young age, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. But
I think based on his achievements, like you say there,
he's very suspect defensively.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's the greatest right back ever, but I think in that team, based on his honours, I'd go for Trent. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd probably go for Trent.
Only because
He nearly
no
made-
one else sticks out. If anyone else stuck out,
Yeah.
they'd get in ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But if I remember rightly, Trent nearly made your Premier League 11,
Thanks.
didn't he, Chris? You was on about potentially Trent over Walker at
I
one
actually
point.
said it's between him and Walker because
Yeah.
going forward, Trent's a better right back, but
Yeah.
defensively, Carl Walker's miles better.
So it must be. So I think Trent right back. So let's go left back. Let's not go centre back shit. Let's go left back because
I'd say
All day.
Andy Robertson.
All day.
I liked
Streets ahead.
Risa.
I mean, Reese was good, but Robertson, unreal.
Yeah.
Moreno.
No. No. I'll bet
Didn't Jimmy Traore play left back?
Alberto Moreno is going to be a pallbearer at my funeral, so he can let me down one more time.
Hey, yeah, go on then. Let's go, Robert. We're going to end up being
Just naming we're just going to name the 1920
I was
squad.
going to say, yeah. So centre backs then, Verge.
Like I said in that Prem 11, there was 3 seasons where he was unplayable.
Yeah.
So who's his centre back
This
partner?
is interesting. This one. This is more of interesting because I'm stuck between.
I'm stuck between 2.
I'm going to have to go
Yeah.
Sammy Huppier.
I was going to say Sammy Hippier.
I was going to say Sammy Huppier or Jamie Carragher.
See, Jimmy Carragher was never great, was he? He was just the scouts that just got stuck in.
He was just loud bow.
The
wasn't
thing
he?
Yeah.
is, Jamie Carragher played 700 games for Liverpool. You've got to have something about you to play 700 games
He was
for
a
Liverpool.
he was a solid player, but he was never.
Is he making the bench?
He'll make the bench.
Right.
I'll put him on the bench.
You're putting Carragher on the bench ahead of Honcho
Yes.
and Pete Gomez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What about like Dan Agger?
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Daniel
he was
Agger.
great on the ball.
Skirtle the turtle.
Them two were.
Skirtle was good. I think you're right. I think you have to give Carragher the bench because of just it was a bit of a it's a bit of an engine, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
Terrible at football.
does
Average.
Hippier and Van Dijk work? Because they were both giants, weren't they?
Yeah, but
Van Dijk's a Rolls Royce.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd go with that.
Sammy Huppie's your standard defender. Van
Yeah.
Dijk's your Rolls Royce of a defender.
Hippier was the defender of the time. He was like in the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
mould as like Vidic and that.
Yeah, he was class.
What
wasn't
a
he? I
signing he was as well for like $2.5 million.
loved him.
Yeah.
He was
So-
class.
So back 4, we've gone for Trent, Sammy Hippier, Virgil van Dijk, and Andy Robertson.
Yeah,
Which
strong.
means they were playing 3 in midfield and 3 up top.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's talk about midfield then.
I think I've got 2 midfielders that I think automatically get in that 3 already.
Go on then.
Xabi Alonso,
Right.
Steven Gerrard.
Yep.
That's the third one. I'll happily debate, but I think those 2 are shoe-ins.
I mean, the Steven Gerrard one is. So I'm not a Steven Gerrard dick rider, but he was unreal. It was unreal, but I want.
You're not a true
like,
Liverpool fan then.
Yeah. But it's like, but people are generally like he's like God, but he was a very good player in a very average team.
Yeah.
I think he's better than a very, very good player. I think he was a world-class player in a very average team.
He saved Liverpool in a lot of games, but I know what you mean. It was an average team, so he didn't have a choice.
We wouldn't have won that 2005 final without him.
No, we wouldn't have won that FA Cup against West Ham without him as well.
Yeah.
Like he scored some amazing goals. But what I'm saying is if he would have gone to Chelsea when it was that peak Mourinho team, he would have just been another class player at Chelsea.
Yeah.
But because he stayed at Liverpool, he was Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, absolutely, he has to go in.
Has to.
He
No
has
debate.
to go in. I also love Xabi Alonso and
Alonso's
Mascherano,
class.
but I don't think Mascherano stuck around long enough.
No, but do you know what I was thinking about him? Because I think that as a three in that midfield is strong.
It's very robust, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's a playmaker in there, is there?
No, but who else would you go for then? Would you go for Henderson for what he's achieved? If you're going
Henderson
on
ahead. Oh, Henderson with Xavi Alonso and Gerrard.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think Henderson's got to be in the conversation, given he had 12 years at the club and he's the only person to lift a Premier League trophy.
This is what I mean. If you go back again, if you're going for the Trent argument, where you're looking at what he's done in his short time,
Yeah.
Henderson's won it all again.
I think you put him
club
in.
captain.
I think you put him into that 3.
Yeah,
It's a bit of a boring 3 though, but you will put him
it is
in a 3.
boring. Yeah,
The only other player that could potentially go in there is Coutinho.
Yeah, but I was thinking of Coutinho in the front 3, but the front 3 is solid.
front three
This is
so
gonna
hard,
be
man.
rock hard.
Front three so hard.
I know.
Like,
Why don't we just scrap the midfield and just play 10 strikers?
yeah, sounds like a plan. So are we all going to go with Salah? Does he make you all time?
Hang on, let's go with our midfield bench first. So Henderson's in.
Henderson's in the starting lineup.
How many on the bench in midfield?
Coutinho on the bench.
Coutinho on the bench.
Is the
yeah.
bench 7?
And
Seven players.
Mascherano on the bench.
Yeah, I'd probably go Mascherano
What
on
for
the bench.
midfield? I can't really think of any other midfielders.
I don't feel like
we're missing.
Mascherano deserves to be in it because he was
No.
only there for like 2 seasons.
So, what about Didi Hamann?
Did he have hands? Good shout. He was solid.
Yeah, very good shout.
Do you know what?
I think you put Didi Hamann in. It's a good
James
shout.
Milner.
Nah, not for me.
Mr. Versatile, great player, but he wouldn't be in my all-time. Not my all-time one.
So let's put Didi Hamann on the bench then.
Danny Murphy.
No.
Again, no.
Jamie Redknapp.
No.
Steve McManaman.
Steve McManaman, great.
Player.
John Barnes.
John Barnes.
Igor Bishkam.
Yeah.
Salif Diao.
Vladimir Schmitzer.
Yeah.
Patrick Berger.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some players.
Yeah.
People lose sight of it.
John Barnes is a great shout, though.
People got short-term memory. But want Barnes in more of a wing forward?
Yeah.
Paul Ince.
Paul Ince, yeah, another great player.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that 3, though. I think it's...
Mark Lawrenson. Graham Souness.
Alan Hansen.
Graham Souness. I mean, if it was...
Peak.
Because we're doing all-time Liverpool. We're not necessarily just doing Prem Liverpool,
No.
are we?
No. I don't remember seeing
Yeah, I
Graham
don't-
Souness
I don't remember
play.
Souness.
I
Yeah.
don't, to be fair, which is a shame, really, because the 80s, apparently, we were unreal.
Yeah.
So who's our midfield 3 starting?
Henderson, Gerrard, and Xabi Alonso.
And on the bench,
Going
Didi
for
Hamann.
Hamann, Coutinho.
Coutinho.
Didi Hamann
And we've got
Coutinho.
Carragher and Rayner on there as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the minute.
So front 3 then.
This is solid.
I mean, let's just
We've had
let's
some
just throw some
absolute-
Let's just
names
reel
out
some
there.
out.
You've got Fowler,
Owen. Torres.
Rush, Torres,
Suarez.
Andy Carroll.
Firmino,
Yeah.
Karl-Heinz Riedler.
Salah, Mane.
Cinema Pongal.
I think you're looking at them 7. You've got to take 3 out of those 7 players.
There's got to be some more as well. Like John Barnes, you said he was a wing forward. John Barnes.
Yeah. Stan Collymore,
Stan Collins was a great
Emil
shout.
Heskey,
Yeah. Peter Crouch.
Anelka.
Anelka, yeah.
Andy Carroll. Oh, you said him, haven't you?
Fernando Morientes.
El Hadj Diouf,
Balotelli.
Bruno Cheroux.
Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah, Balotelli.
Fucking hell.
I don't know. Like,
Sean Dundee.
You are picking from 7. You're picking from Salah, Mane, Firmino, Fowler, Owen, Rush, Barnes,
Torres and Suarez.
Torres and Suarez is 9. You've got to kick 3 out of them 9.
did you say Owen?
Yeah.
He's part of that. I think, again, Owen Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, best player in the world.
Best player in the world at one point, so surely he makes that front
Do you know the only
three.
reason he don't make that front 3 for me? Because because he went to Man United.
Yeah.
He ruined it.
Yeah.
But
Take that out of it.
Yeah, if I take that out of it, right,
Ballon d'Or winner.
I'm playing Fowler. Fowler was a better finisher than Owen, but because of Owen's speed, Owen could be your out and out number 9, like playing off the shoulder of the last man. With his pace, he would annihilate defences.
Yeah.
So I think he should be our out and out number 9.
I agree.
I disagree.
Who'd you go with?
Fowler.
Fernando Torres. Peak Fernando Torres.
Yeah, Torres was unplayable at times.
Peak Fernando Torres or peak Luis Suarez is a better number 9 than Michael Owen.
I just think you've got short-term memory. Don't get me wrong. Torres 2 seasons unplayable. Suarez 2 seasons unplayable. Owen 5 or 6 seasons before he got injured.
I think if you
Yeah, but Owen started in '98. He was injured for quite a lot of the time, and then moved to Real Madrid in 2003.
Yeah, so 5-6 year run at Liverpool, wasn't it? He started banging goals. He came on the scene like 96,
98.
just after Euro 96.
97, sorry.
Yeah, 97, yeah. And then went to France 98 and scored that wonder goal against Argentina.
I think you take the Ballon d'Or out of it, then you've got more of a shout for someone like Torres or someone else to come in. But I think
he only won the Ballon d'Or because there was no one else that could have won it.
he's still classed as the
There was
best player in the
thousands of
world.
other professional
I'm sure there were
footballers
thousands
that could have won it.
At his time, there was loads, wasn't there? But
I think
you
it's
can't
very,
argue with that.
very close between, not Torres. I think it's very, very close between, because Gerrard said himself, he loved playing with Torres. He said, but Suarez was the best player he's ever played with.
Yeah.
So I think it's between Suarez and Owen as our number 9.
I think it depends who you've got on either side, because if you need that genius, if you need that,
All right, let's
if you
pick
need
the
that
wingers
maverick,
first.
if you
Then.
need that maverick, Luis Suarez is your guy who could do anything. Like he scored, there was that goal, a hat trick he scored against Norwich, and all the goals were absolutely unbelievable.
He scored. This is why I put him in my prem all time, because some of the stuff he did was unbelievable. Some of the stuff he did was unbelievable. So I think you're right, Chris. It's between Owen and Suarez for me.
Yeah.
But because Owen's got the Ballon d'Or, that he's swinging it for me.
So you think Owen?
Yeah.
It's too close to call for me. You put either of them there, and I'm happy because Suarez was
pick
great
one
to
bench
watch.
one. So Suarez on the bench, Owen
Yeah.
up top.
It's 2 against 1, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're gonna have to go with it.
I don't think the wingers are hard at all.
Salah and Mane.
And you've got Barnes in the mix, but Salah and Mane for me.
It's the number 9 that's the hardest thing, because you had so many good number 9s.
Yeah.
All right then. So on the top of this as well, I think this is a clear winner, but I'm going to say it anyway. In terms of top 3s that we've had, Salah, Firmino, Mane, or Sturridge, Suarez, Sterling.
Salah, Firmino, Mane.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
I think they're much better, but
That's Sturridge on that season.
yeah.
Look at his stats, mate.
Yeah.
Some of the goals he
Freak.
scored as well.
Even Sterling
Yeah.
when he came onto the scene and he fitted in.
That front three, that SAS was class, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or
There was
whatever
a
they
stat
call
that
them.
flashed up. I was watching the Premier League flashback year, and there was a stat, and I think Suarez and Sturridge together had scored like 37 goals after 18 games, and them two alone was more than something like 17 other clubs combined.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Mental.
They just fit together so well, and then you had Coutinho behind them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that
I
was.
loved Coutinho, me.
Yeah, I did.
If Jurgen Klopp was in charge of that team, we'd
Yeah.
have won the league.
Yeah. I do. I mean, I think the only thing that rules out Barnes and Rush, because they probably would go in if we were 10, 15 years older.
Yeah.
Yeah, agree.
If you saw him in the prime,
Yeah. But I do think it's either Suarez or Owen up front, and then Salah and Mane either side.
yeah, I don't think from a winger perspective, I don't think there's anybody else.
No.
Who do you think Mane and Salah would sort of prefer to play with, Owen or Suarez? I think Suarez would bring them into the game more.
Yeah.
I think Owen was just all about the goal.
Yeah. Old school striker, wasn't he, Owen?
Yeah, I
Pace
think
over the top.
I think they'd prefer to play with Suarez in that team
I do.
because they've got more variety. Suarez can drop deeper, he can go behind
Yep.
the defence.
Yeah.
Yep.
Owen's just
Very direct, isn't he?
until later in his career when he had to drop deeper,
Yep.
then he dropped off. But before that, it was just all about goals.
So are we thinking we start Suarez and put Owen on the bench?
It depends what you're going for. If you're going for team dynamic and who you think they'll play better with, or if you go for individual people that are great.
If that's the case, though, and you're going for team dynamic and who they're going to play better with, you've got to mention Bobby Firmino.
Yeah, which we did. We mentioned him in the
And
9.
And that's the thing, though, because although Suarez is a maverick, he'll get you goals and stuff like that. Firmino in that front three was the linchpin. He set up Mane and Salah for a lot of their goals.
That's why when I think of this type of stuff, when you're talking about your best 11 or whatever, I'm thinking of individual players in positions, not who they play
not
with.
Not dynamic, team dynamic.
Because I know when we talked before, like you guys went for like Makalele and Perla because they were sitting and all this type of stuff. Like, I don't think that. I think I've got 3 midfielders. Who's the best 3 midfielders that I know? And that's how I think of this. So I think if you're going for just best individual people in those positions, Owen, Suarez bench.
Right.
That's my view.
Interesting.
And I know this is going to sound contradictory because I put Suarez in the best Prem and not Owen.
Yeah, I just thought that
But
actually. Yeah.
do you know why? Because I completely forgot about Owen at the time. So,
Jesus Christ, he was too busy collecting JLS dolls and he forgot about Owen.
too busy walking around Hull trying to find Pokemon.
I'd start Suarez and bench Owen.
Same.
I think we're happy with Eddie combination, but
It's great.
If you're 2 for 1, so you go Suarez.
It's a good team and a good bench as well.
Where would that team finish in the Premier League?
Second behind City.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
even the bench?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah. Do you think City are that good?
Yeah.
I think we'd push them.
Well, yeah, we would.
No, I think we'd push them and arguably win the title.
Would win Carabao Cup though. That's all right.
Last season's City team that won the treble, or the team that we've just put together, I still think City win the Prem.
I don't think they do.
Do you not?
No.
I think it's too hard to tell.
If you look at where we're missing players, we're missing players in the midfield, and you've just added Steven Gerrard and Xabi Alonso, and then on the bench
And Suarez.
and Suarez, and you've added Mascherano. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think I agree. For once, I agree with
Hamann
Bull on
and
this.
whatever. You've added those players, and that front three of Mane, Suarez, and Salah.
Yeah, but this is where you do that thing that they normally do. You put them 11 teams up, and who's getting in the combined team out of that? Liverpool 11 and that City 11.
So who from the City team would get into that Liverpool team that we've just named?
So Kyle Walker, I think, would get in ahead of Trent.
Yeah.
I think Diaz, you could argue, would get instead of Hippier.
No, don't agree with that one.
Then in midfield, last season's City team, I think Rodri would get in
Instead of
Henderson.
Henderson.
I agree because Henderson's not a great player. It's just because of his honours, wasn't it, that we put him in there. So I think you're right.
I think Rodri gets in front of Henderson.
I think Gundogan gets in ahead of Xavi Alonso.
No.
No.
Gundogan instead of Henderson. I'd go Gundogan, Alonso, Gerrard.
Yeah, but you'd have to put Rodri in as well. Rodri and Gundogan would get in that midfield, and you'd keep Gerrard in there.
Gundogan gets on the bench.
Right. Well, yeah, and displays the
Gundogan
bench.
goes on the bench.
And then I think up top, I think Haaland would get in ahead of Suarez.
Do you think?
No way.
That's controversial.
No way.
Mate,
Yeah, but
first
who else?
season in the Premier, he scored 36 goals, broke the record.
Yeah, but look at the players behind him
Yeah,
feeding
but
him.
when you said we're not doing that, you said we're doing out and out single positions. We're not doing out. Do they fit in the team?
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah. So for me, last year's Haaland beats prime Suarez.
So then it's
No.
so you've
Don't agree with that
put in.
I agree with Walker.
So you've put in Walker,
Yeah.
Diaz,
Yep.
Rodri,
Yep.
Haaland.
I would even potentially put in Foden ahead of Mane as well.
No, come
Yeah,
on
yeah, I
now.
would.
Are you a Secret City fan?
Foden's that good. So I'd put,
He is, but he hasn't
I'd
done it
put
consistently
five,
over
I'd put
Mane.
5 City
but
City players in their all-time Liverpool team.
If Foden's that good, why is he not playing for City week in, week out? And De Bruyne's injured.
I'm not Pep.
No, you're not. I'm just asking your
Newsflash.
opinion.
But I'm not Pep, so I don't know why he's not. I think Foden should be as regular as De Bruyne. If De Bruyne's fit, De Bruyne's playing. I think Foden should be the same. I just don't know if Pep obviously sees something different, but
I would put Foden on the bench over Coutinho.
would you?
Yeah, Foden would go on the bench. And
Coutinho was class though, wasn't he?
yeah, he was, yeah. We signed him for 8 million, sold him for 140.
I know. But how much would Foden go for now? If you sold Foden to Real Madrid now, he'd go for similar money, wouldn't he?
No, yeah, easy.
But Yeah, look, I think, don't get me wrong, I think it would be great to watch both of them teams thrash out a title race.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just still think that City team would pip that Liverpool team.
Is there anyone in past City
Aguero.
that would get in their team now?
Other than Aguero.
What about Company? I think Company at centre back, definitely.
Yeah.
Company and Van Dijk as a pairing.
No, and it would.
I was thinking in the current City team.
Last year's treble team, would any City players get in?
Yeah.
You could argue Company.
Company and Aguero, I think, come in.
I think that's it.
Probably,
that's it.
yeah.
You could maybe argue Yaya Toure.
He was unbelievable.
Squad player.
Yeah, or you could argue at a push. Oh no, he didn't stay there long enough. But like as a winger, Leroy Sané was unreal.
Yeah, he was class one.
Yeah, he wasn't there long enough, though, was he?
No, he fell out with him as well, didn't he?
Yeah, got injured.
But yeah, I think Aguero and Company. I think no one else would get in last year's team in City.
Yeah, probably agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it, I don't really know who else there is.
I know. It's weird, isn't it?
It's just, yeah. I mean, can't think of who the left back was.
They had Gael Clichy for a while, didn't they? And they've had like Kolarov,
Danny
people
Mills.
like that.
Danny Mills.
So yeah, you're right. I don't think much of their previous squad would get in there, apart from the ones we've said.
No, not for me anyway.
But I would love to see that Liverpool team we've just put together. I think that would be absolutely class.
I think that Liverpool team that we just spoke about beats that Man City team.
That Liverpool team we just spoke about wins the
in
quad.
a match or in a title race?
In title race. Yeah, I think it does.
No, I think the problem is Mascherano will be suspended all the time.
Diddy Harman suspended all the time.
Carragher banged in 8 own goals.
And spat at some fans.
Suarez will be banned for 8 months.
Yeah, Suarez will bit someone.
Yeah,
We'll be without a team after,
team.
6 games.
it's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a good team. I think equally as well. It's the problem I've got with City is they're new money, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I think that's why I think authentically Liverpool are a better club. Because we sort of, us ourselves and United, we built ourselves up over a time where it wasn't driven by who had the most money. It was built up with, bringing through players and, traditions and all the rest of it. That's why I think authentically Liverpool and Man United are still bigger clubs than Man City.
Oh, absolutely.
great.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about
100%.
it.
And I honestly don't think that will probably ever change. I don't think even in 10 years' time that City will become as big a club as Liverpool and Man United, or even Arsenal. I think Arsenal's still a bigger club than them in terms of...
Yeah, again, built up authentically.
Yeah.
It's
a bit like Chelsea. Chelsea's, even to now...
They're
how
the
long have they had
original
their money?
snakes.
Yeah, they just still don't feel like they're massive.
Yeah, they're the original snakes, Chelsea.
Yeah, I think Chelsea, when was Abramovich's money? 2003?
Early.
So they're spending more money now than under Abramovich, which is nuts. They're spending so much money, it's ridiculous.
I know.
And how they're getting it. I think since January last year, since Todd Bowley came in, they've spent up like $1 billion.
So, talk about owners then. So, what's your views on FSG? There's a lot of talk of FSG out and this and that and stuff. I see it quite a lot at the minute. Like, I don't know if it's been masked by the fact that Klopp's done an amazing job and some of the transfer business he's done has been amazing. So Mane, Salah, getting rid of Coutinho, bringing in Van Dijk, Alisson, that type of stuff. But I don't feel like we've been that hard done by over the years. They've been very fruitful with their business in terms of money and not spending too much and getting ourselves in a position. But before that, we was massively in debt, weren't we, as a club?
I like what FSG have done and I like the business model, what they've used to get there. I think we've brought in the players because we've got very, very good scouting and we've had very good sporting directors and stuff to be able to do that.
And we've sold well as well, haven't we, to bring in the money for it. Like, for example, like Dominic Solanke going for 20-25 million.
Jordan Ibe went for 20 million.
20 million. Like, these players, they're just fringe players. They freed up a lot of money for some big
Coutinho,
signings.
150 million.
That was the biggest one.
Yeah.
That saved.
I mean,
the
Suarez
club.
was 80 million maybe.
77,
Something
something
like
like that.
that,
Yeah. He wasn't far
Sterling went for 50.
Yeah.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. Is we've been excellent with managing spend because we're not on the level of Chelsea and Man United in terms of money and Man City. So we've had to just be very, very good, and I think we have been good. And I think we've managed to compete by being very good in the transfer market. But I think when FSG took over, they got us out of debt. They've invested in the stadium. They invested enough for us to win a league and a Champions League. But I think the last 2 to 3 years, I think the game, for us to compete with the Chelseas, the Man Cities, I think the game has passed them by a little bit.
I agree.
I think if we want to keep competing, we have to bring in like a sheikh or a billionaire or a consortium that are billionaires. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's why they looked for investment, don't it? When they essentially, they said they didn't put the club up for sale, they were looking for new investment, and I think that's why they tried to do that, because they know as an ownership group they cannot invest that much money. But when you look at, so we spent we call it 40 million on McAllister, 60 million on Soboslai,
16 on Endo.
Yeah,
we bought Endo as well. But even still before that, like last season, 85 million on Nunes, and then other players as well spent money on Diaz. And
they would have put
Gakpo.
up the money for Caicedo. If that had gone through, they would have had to put up 110 mil for that.
Yeah. And they were willing to do that. So the money's there, but I think they're willing to invest the money as a last resort.
Here's one for you, because I saw this on Twitter as well. Do you think FSG knew Caicedo had chosen Chelsea?
Yeah.
And therefore, they were happy to publicly go out and say...
inflate the price?
No, not to inflate the price. They publicly wanted to go out and go, we've bid 110 million that's been accepted, knowing full well that we don't going to have to pay it. And therefore, it made them look like the good guys in terms of, look, we're investing in your club, but you didn't choose us.
Yeah, they're they.
But knowing they didn't have to, they weren't committed to it because he'd already chosen Chelsea.
Yeah, but that's what I said. That's what I said earlier during the game.
Yeah, but didn't you say that to inflate the price for Chelsea? I'm talking about just to show us that they think that they're investing in the club.
Yeah, not necessarily to inflate the price for Chelsea. I think they knew Moises Caicedo was only going to Chelsea, and Liverpool coming to Liverpool was not a viable option. Whether they invested the money or put the offer in to save face, or whether it was to just say, "Oh yeah, well, we've got the money. That's not an issue. We can spend it if we want to spend it." So whatever the reason is, I think FSG had a plan, and I still think we'll bring in one, maybe two players before the end of the window.
Do you know the best thing I can say about owners? You know when you've got good owners when you don't hear anything about them.
Yeah.
And in fairness to FSG, compared to when the Glazers came in and all the rest of it, and then Stan Kroenke and all that, you hear all about all them, right? But up until about last year, you didn't hear anything about FSG. They sort of float under the radar. They bought the club for 300 million. It's now valued at 4 billion. Like, they've done a good job.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
Hardest fans in the world to please as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I think when it comes to it, I agree with you about the owners. A good ownership group are ones that you don't hear about. You don't hear about Man City's owners. I know they pump in a lot of money. Man City's owners in the background have invested in the academy. They've invested in the women's game as well.
Surrounding area of
surrounding areas.
They've built houses.
Yeah. So they've invested all of that as well. And FSG, yes, they've invested in the stadium, yes, around Anfield and stuff like that. So they've done that as well. But you look at other clubs' owners. Tottenham fans hate Daniel Levy. They hate. I know he's not the owner; he's the chairman, whatever you want to call him. But they hate Daniel Levy. Man United fans, they hate the Glazers.
Yeah.
So it's just. I think from Liverpool's perspective, we're very, very lucky with our owners and who we've got in charge of the club, because we could quite easily be in an Everton situation where you've got an owner who can't attend the game.
I think we're lucky with the owners we've got, but I think we're also lucky with the fact we've got Klopp. Because I think if we had a different manager, he may have had different conversations with FSG and gone down a different route with transfers, and it might have looked slightly different. But I agree. Right. I think they're a solid group, and I agree with you, Chris. I think they're now these last two years, maybe 3 years, we've kind of seen a bit of a decline in terms of transfer activity and investment and keep up to pace. And maybe it is time now that we do get a billionaire or someone to come in and accelerate the club a little bit further.
And that's the problem, right? So it's a bit like going back to what you said about Daniel Levy, right? So what's Daniel Levy's approach? Do you think, right, I'm going to now start competing with City and United and Chelsea, and I'm going to potentially financially ruin our club in the search for a Premier League title? Or do I know my place and I know that Tottenham Hotspur are a 3rd to 6th team and the money we've got will keep us there? Or do we try and go big and potentially bankrupt ourselves to take that next step? Like, do you know what I mean?
And that's the situation that they're in now because they've built a £1 billion stadium.
Yep.
And they're not in Europe.
Yep.
And you're getting... They've got NFL games at the stadium or they've got concerts at the stadium to get money in and stuff like that. But that money, what they're getting in from the NFL games and stuff, that's not going towards the squad. And the best chance that they had was when Pochettino was there. When they got to the Champions League final, they finished 2nd to Leicester in the league. They had that period of time where Pochettino was there and Kane was coming into his own and stuff like that, where that was great for them. But since then, they've gone through bad managerial decision after bad managerial decision after bad managerial decision, spending a shit ton of money on players that haven't worked, and now they're trying to claw it back. Like I've seen a few of the games this season, like, and Postecoglou's doing really well, and I thought, he's going to be. He was at Celtic and this and the other. He's doing really well. He's got him playing really good football, and you're thinking,
I like the look of it. I like the look of his style.
He brought in Basuma out the cold because Conte hated him. He brought in that Papsar out the cold, and you're just thinking, why hasn't no one else been able to do this?
Yeah, but
do you know what I mean?
There's still, I think that's all great. He started the season well, but there's just levels.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah,
and Tottenham will finish 4th if they have a blinder. They'll finish 8th if they have a bit of a rope.
Especially if they don't replace Kane as well with someone that's going to bag them goals. Because at the minute they've got no striker who's going to get them those goals.
Yeah, there's just levels to this game, isn't there?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and that's the problem.
Yeah. So we've agreed our all-time 11. We've included manager. We agree that FSG have done a great job at Liverpool, but probably past their sell-by date now and maybe need to start to look at moving on.
For us to keep competing, I think we need to attract investment.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree. Because we've shown this transfer window that we can't really compete at the level that we want to or need to.
You're relying on... We went through a bit of a run where we were turning £20 million players into £150 million players.
Yeah.
And that's not going to last forever.
No. Well, look at... we signed Salah for 36 million. We signed Mane for 30-odd million.
Coutinho
for 8 million.
Firmino.
For what was he? Less than 30.
Turning these players into world-class players.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Wijnaldum.
100%.
Yeah. Robertson, 12 mil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Trent out of the
academy. Yeah.
All right, we only really splashed on Alisson and Van Dijk.
Yeah. Konate,
and obviously the greatest striker in the world, Darwin Núñez.
Yeah.
We splashed out on him.
Good player, him.
Always liked him, haven't you?
I like him.
Loved him. Favourite player.
Good player.
He nearly made your all-time Liverpool squad.
Yeah, all-time Prem XI after
maybe
one
in
game.
10 years' time we'll be talking about him.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. Last question now before we wrap up the pod.
Go on then.
Now we're 3 weeks into the season. Where will Liverpool finish in the table? What will they do in the other cups?
I'm still going to finish 4th, which is what I predicted. So I think they'll still get a top 4. I think we'll have a solid run in the Europa League, but I don't think we'll commit too much to it. So I don't expect us to win it. But I think we'll get out group stages, get knocked out in quarters maybe. Maybe a cup, maybe an FA Cup, Carabao Cup again.
Win a domestic,
maybe.
Right.
I think we'll finish 2nd.
Really?
Yeah, I think we'll finish, second. I'll go 2nd, but 2nd or 3rd. Certainly get Champions League. I think we will do well in the Europa League because we've got a deep squad. I don't think he'll give a shit about the Carabao Cup, and I probably don't think he'll care about the FA Cup.
I don't think he cared about them previously, but we won them both, didn't we?
I think the fact we're not in the Champions League, I think he will play some strength in the FA Cup.
Do you think?
And I think he'll play the kids, but if we all of a sudden get out of that group and we get into the knockout phases, I think he'll have a run at it.
I think he'll go for the Europa League.
Yeah.
I really do.
It's a good opportunity for him to sort of play the Elliots, the Joneses, the Bakatiches, the Quansars, all the Ben Dokes, all those types of players. He can play them in those and give them the sort of experience they need without thinking, do you know what, if we get knocked out, no one's going to give a shit.
That's the kind of thing though. You're thinking, right, I'm in the Europa League. People think, oh, it's the Europa League, it's shit. Well, it's a European competition.
Don't get me wrong. If we get to that final, I'll be absolutely wanting to win it.
We don't need to win
But
that
we
trophy.
don't need to win it.
We don't
yeah.
need it, but then
It does nothing for us.
I mean, granted, top 5 next season's Champions League.
Is it?
Yeah. Top 5 next season.
I didn't
Premier League,
realise that.
Champions League.
What, as in the season we're in now?
No, next season.
Next season,
Yeah,
season after.
Because it's a new format next
Yeah,
season.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
How
so
I feel about
do you
that,
mean
but-
finishing 5th this season will get you in the Champions League
Yeah.
next season?
Mhm.
Right, okay.
So you could finish in top 5 and still be in the Champions League, which, I mean, you look at teams around Liverpool and you think, yeah, you should quite easily be doing that.
I mean, it makes it a damn sight easier if you've got a top 5 to get in the Champions League. I
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
stick with my original prediction before the season started, which is I think Liverpool will finish 4th. I think we'll have runs to like the quarters in both domestic cups, but I think we'll go close in the Europa League because I do think if we play the kids in the group and they get us through, I think he'll then go strong.
Yeah, because that's when your Champions League teams come out of
Yep.
the... Yeah.
Mm.
And we are not being arrogant, but I'd fancy our team against most of the Champions League teams that don't qualify in the Champions League.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, probably go with that.
So
Agree.
yeah. So we'll see how many of these come true.
So a mediocre season for us ahead then.
Just a steady quad.
Just
The Prem, the Europa League, and 2 domestic cups.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
Yeah, steady.
easy. That's
Yeah.
what we need.
Right, guys, let's call this one a day.
Yep, let's wrap it up.
All right, yeah. So we'll see you again.
See you next week.
Ciao.